Hey, mamas. Welcome back to Conquering Chaos, a mom's guide to self-care and sanity. I'm your host, Sydney Crow, and today we have Vanessa Flores. She is a fitness trainer and founder of the Strong Fit Life, the online program Fit Parent Kettlebell Kickstart. With 12 years of training experience and a mother of two young children, she understands the challenges in balancing family responsibilities with health. She is on a mission to empower her clients, especially those in their 40s and beyond, to build both mental resilience and physical strength for a healthier lifestyle. Her unique approach centers on kettlebell fitness, to create lasting healthy habits that seamlessly integrate with daily life. Vanessa's impact spans nationwide, transforming lives by empowering individuals to lead healthier, more confident lives, despite the challenges of parenthood and busy schedules. When she's not swinging bells or doing push-ups, she enjoys a glass of Malbec and exploring new restaurants with her husband and children in Tennessee. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
I'm so excited. I mean, you and I were just kind of chit-chatting before the show kicked off, and I feel like there's a reason we got connected because I'm rounding the bend to 40 myself. So I'd love for you to just share with the listeners who you are and what you're all about and kind of why you target women in their 40s and beyond.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Vanessa Flores, and my fitness journey actually started a bit later in life. Growing up, I did have all the, body image issues, self-esteem issues. My mom was always on a diet. I have a sister that's 7 years older than me. She was always on a diet. So that's all I knew was like diets, right?
Yes.
And when I went to college, I kind of started dabbling into like food and kinesiology, nutrition courses. And I was just like mind blown because I didn't learn any of that growing up. But I took it to the extreme. I really restricted all my foods, was at the gym like 2 hours a day. And I got to the skinny that I wanted. But funny thing is it never fixed anything. I was still insecure. I was still,
Mhm.
body image issues, self-esteem issues, like all of that was still there.
Yeah.
And then when I reintroduced those foods, I went to the other extreme and I was binging and binging because I wouldn't allow myself to eat those because I looked at them as bad foods. And
Mm,
now my body was like, give me all of that that you wouldn't let me have before.
yeah.
And I went the other extreme and gained tons of weight really fast, was my biggest ever. And that led me to depression.
Mhm.
And I got to a point where I was like, I can't be in these two extremes. I have to find a healthy balance, right?
Yeah.
So I started learning more about whole foods, eating more plant-based, and viewing fitness more as a way to get better, like self-improvement versus like just going to do a workout to burn calories or to punish myself, right? So
Mm.
really changing my view on what food really is and what fitness really is, it's what really changed my life. And that's where kettlebells come into play because kettlebells, a lot of people are scared of it because they look manly and they're like, I'm going to hurt my back. And kettlebells is a skill. And like you really have to focus on what you're doing. And it gives you that like mental resilience, that toughness that helped build to where I am today. And you could do that with little bit of time. You don't need hours. You could get full body, workouts. It's so technical that you have to learn it, that
Yeah.
your whole body is engaged. You have to use all your muscles at the same time, which is very different than just grabbing some weights and just going through the motions, right? And as I got older, I didn't have kids until I was my first kid until I was 38. So my daughter is 6 now, and then I had my son at 40.
Okay.
And now it's like, okay, I'm into fitness, I'm into health, but how can I keep doing it with all the demands going on? I started my own business, we moved. So, all these moving parts, it's like, how can I still prioritize me? Where a lot of people think that that's being selfish,
Mm.
where in reality, it's like, that's how you keep your sanity.
Yeah.
It's like your few minutes for you just to focus on you. And in the beginning, when my kids were little, it was tough. They wanted mommy, 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 and I wanted to work out. And I had to like change my expectation and be like, my workout's just going to be what my workout's going to be, it's just about being healthy and being able to be there for them. And now they know, mommy, you working out today? Mommy, when you working out? Or can we do a family workout? Like now they're
So
like
fun.
in it.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people think in the beginning, my kids won't let me, my kids won't let me. But the more you do it, the more they see it, the more it becomes a norm. So that's why I really honed in on moms, because we put ourselves on the back burner so much to care for
Mhm.
everybody else. And I always say the most important person in this world is you, right? And if
Yes.
you can't take care of yourself, it's really hard to take care of everybody else. And being an older mom, and even with, changes in life and hormones and all that, and maybe in their 40s, their kids are starting to go off in college. Like we're in a different season of life than we were like in our 20s and 30s. And we really have to take that into account. And I feel like a lot of people still think that they need to do what they did in their 20s in order to get fit now in their 40s, and they're like deers with, in the headlights. They're like, I can't do
Yeah.
that, that's too much. And I just want to redefine what fitness really is. And it can be simple, it is doable, and I just want to empower moms to do that for themselves.
That's really, I mean, I love that so much because I went through my own journey as my kids were growing up. And I remember one time I was doing a home workout and it called for squats. And I remember like just doing leg presses, like airplane with my kids, right? I was like,
Yeah.
well, it's the same motion. And she was having fun with it. But I had to learn how to adjust my expectations. And I love that you highlight that. Women in their 40s obviously can be in a wide variety of seasons, right? You touched on it,
Mhm.
like you have younger kids, but some moms might have their kids going off to college. Do you find that women in this season need different plans based off of like what season they're in?
Absolutely. And that's the thing, like with any fitness program, it's not a cookie cutter. Even if someone's like,
Mm,
I have this magic formula, blueprint, it's like you have to take in account your lifestyle. You have to take in account your preferences. You have to take into what do you like to do? Like maybe you do every Friday like to go out for pizza. Fine, you don't have to take that out. And I would never tell anybody you can't go get ice cream with your kids, or say your kid turned 21, you can't go out with your son or daughter and have a drink, like
yeah.
you have to know where you are, what you like. And some people are like, I don't even want to do burpees. Like, don't even make me do burpees. Fine, you don't have to.
Yeah,
But
there's
if
plenty of other
you
things.
exactly. So it is important to know what season of life that you're in. Obviously if your kids are off to college, you have more time. If you have little ones like me, I'm still lack of sleep,
Yeah, you're in
so
it.
so I'm like, you have to give yourself grace. You're not going to be able to do all the things that you were able to do before, and that's okay. It's about, and at our point of life, it's about sustainability and about health versus like flaunting six-pack abs,
Fair.
which if you want to, fine, totally fine, but it doesn't have to be that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think you kind of mentioned, you touched on something because in our 40s, I mean, hormones become a major player again. So, how do you build a fitness plan around that?
So, you know, there's this big buzz, hormones, and hormones. If you're doing this, it's your hormones. And if this is happening, it's your hormones, which, yes, your hormones do play a role in what's going on. But you also have to take a look at your quality of sleep. You also have to look at how do you manage your stress. You also have to look at what you're eating. What are you putting into your bodies? And what are you doing for fitness? Because if you're doing all like hit type workouts, if you're eating all these foods that are, like inflame, or, all processed foods, that's all going to affect your hormones, right?
100%.
So I always say, let's start at the basics. Let's start at the basic. Let's build a foundation. And then from there, you can dive deeper. I feel like a lot of people want to start at the top. It's my hormones. I'm going to blame my hormones. I need to fix my
Mm.
hormones. Where it's like, let's take a little step back. We'll get there, but let's build the foundations before we even, touch that.
Okay. So when you talk about building foundation, do you kind of start all your clients off on the same plan and then like customize it around that?
No.
Or what does that look like?
So I usually have a lifestyle and habits evaluation, like a pretty
Mm.
deep form when they come in, because I want to know what a day in the life of their life looks like, because everybody's different. Everyone says we all have the same 24 hours. Well, there's the number, yes, but within it, everyone has different things that they have to get done throughout their day.
Yeah.
So we start with, where are you right now? And it's like, what's one change we can make to get you to where you want to be? So, and everybody has a different weakness. So I can't be like, everyone's going to start with this, right? And they're like, but I got that. Why do I got to start there?
Yeah.
You know? So figuring out where everybody's kind of struggling with, and we hugely focus on taking step by step and make small changes at a time.
Perfect. Now, how long is your program?
My program is 16 weeks, and we call it a kettlebell kickstart because it is kind of a kickstart. A lot of people want to see humongous change in 4 months or 16 weeks, but that really is kind of a kickstart of finding out, even you discovering, things that you like, you don't like. But by the end of the 16 weeks, it's amazing where people are mentally from where they started to where they end. And our whole goal is, we want you to be able to do what you learned in our program 5 years from now, 10 years from now. It's not like a 30-day challenge and then it's something you can't keep up with. So that's why we do
Sustaining.
16 weeks. So it is at a point where you're like, okay, I'm at a good point right now.
Wow, I love it so much. And I know that you mentioned you have a free Facebook group for people where they can come and kind of see what your program's all about, get some tips and tricks. Do you want to tell the listeners about that?
Yeah, so we have a free Facebook group. It's Strong Healthy Parents. And in there, in our group, you get all our free resources, all our free trainings, tons of value. I was a teacher for 13 years, so I always want to teach and I want you to learn, because like, people do Weight Watchers, people do, all these other programs. But the thing is that they don't do is they don't learn the skill
Mm.
of planning, of prepping, of what help makes them feel good. So I really want, people to really understand what works best for them.
I love that so much. If there's one tip or piece of advice that you'd love to give the moms out there, what would it be?
My one biggest tip, if you're struggling even just to get started, start with a 10-minute walk. If you do that over and over again, you're going to see results. You just have to be patient, right? But find just a few minutes in your day. It could be maybe while you're waiting in the pickup line, take a walk a little bit around the school for 10 minutes, or maybe you have, a 10-minute break before your meetings. Go for a quick walk. Not only will that help you to get results, it'll help build consistency. It'll help you clear your mind. It'll help you boost your energy and your mood. It's like just that small, you don't have to go, all or nothing, white knuckle. If it's not an hour, it's not worth it. It's like, just
Hmm.
find 10 minutes. And if walking is where you start, perfect, start there.
I love that so much. Well, thank you so much for being here today and sharing your expertise with the listeners. I know as I round the bend to 40 myself, these are really helpful tips for me to incorporate into my daily habits. So, you guys will make sure to include the Facebook group in the show notes so that you guys will be able to connect with Vanessa. And if you guys have any questions, you guys can, drop those in her Facebook group, go and get those free tips and tricks. And thank you guys for
Yes.
tuning in to today's episode where we help you conquer the chaos one day at a time.